What's going on, guys? Matt here. So today we are looking at the Cold Steel N-Gage 2.5. Now, there's a lot of Cold Steel N-Gages. It's kind of one of their newer models after the GSM takeover. So we'll be discussing those other models, but we'll be using this as a baseline. If I get my hands on one of those, I'll probably do a review because they are a little bit different. So this will be both kind of a thoughts on the N-Gage line as well as a review, direct review on the N-Gage 2.5. As you can see, this is the smaller version. So real quick, couple of housekeeping things up top. I have been sick this week, so if my voice seems like I can sing bass, I can't sing bass. I am a limited baritone at best. So anyway, so just bear with that if you don't mind. Yeah, so let's actually do some size comparisons real quick on the Cold Steel N-Gage, and then we'll talk specs. We'll talk what I like, what I don't mind, what I dislike, and then I want to start something a little bit different. If I don't have anything particularly unique to say, I'd like to just do closing thoughts, because sometimes there's not a whole lot unique about a blade, or if there is a lot of unique stuff about the blade, that kind of comes out in the like, don't mind. So I might keep doing unique stuff, especially if the knife is really unique, but I also think closing thoughts might be a better metric for you guys. Anyway, so let's do some real quick size comparisons. So let's compare it to another Cold Steel Code 4. Yeah, so very different size knife. The blade isn't that much different, right? Well, it's about an inch different, so good bit different. But yeah, this is more of your small EDC knife, really lightweight, really small. This is more your full size kind of tactical knife or full size utility knife. So very, very big difference in that. And we'll talk about the different sizes of the N-Gage comes in here in a second. And then let's do just one more. Another well-known blade, Kershaw Blur, de-assisted, not by choice, but I've kind of left it like that. I like it de-assisted. I might send it in and have it redone. I've had to do that before, and Kershaw's always really good about that. So yeah, smaller blade on this 2.5 N-Gage. So let's discuss the N-Gage real quick. So the N-Gage came out after the GSM takeover. It uses the Atlas lock, which we'll kind of talk about as the review goes on. There are multiple sizes. It comes in a 2.5-inch blade. It also comes in a 3.1-inch blade, and then a 3.5-inch blade. So the 3.5 is kind of their full version. They make it with 4116 Krupp, which is what this is, 4116 stainless steel. They make it in AUS 10. They also make it in S35, just depending on what model, what style you get. So, to pick one of these up, you're looking at, about $40, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. For the 3-inch version, like the AUS 10 version, you're looking at about $70. And then for the full-on 3.5 version, 3.5-inch and S35 VN, you're looking at a little under $150. All right. Let's talk about what I like about the Cold Steel N-Gage. So there's a lot of variety amongst this model. It comes in multiple sizes. It comes in, you can get a Tonto blade shape. You can get it coated. And there's even Blade HQ is actually doing a 3.5-inch with a XHP steel. So they've offered a lot of options with this knife, and I think that's smart. I think it's really smart when a knife company doesn't just say, here's your knife, satin finish, black handle, right? That's just boring. Like, people like different colors, and I don't think there's a ton more manufacturing that goes into that. So offer us multiple colors. I think that's an excellent idea, and they've done a good job with the N-Gage on this. So I also like the blade style on this. It kind of has like a harpoon clip point style blade, which I quite like. I think it's very interesting. It's not just your standard drop point, not just your standard kind of buoy clip point, not just your standard Tonto, though they do have a Tonto. It has that kind of harpoon shape. It actually kind of puts a natural place, especially for a small knife like this, where you can put your thumb on it. So I really quite like that blade shape. And along with the blade, you guys know I love this stone washing Cold Steel does. This is just like the Spartan, which I should have put on table, but I did not. Really nice stone washing. I've seen stone washing done before. That's just not as pretty. Cold Steel just does a really good job with their stone washing. See, this is a really pretty blade. So well done on that stone washing Cold Steel. Keep that up. I think it's really cool. Another thing I quite like is the clip on this. Cold Steel, I think, has finally wised up a bit. They come with one clip, and that clip is reversible, tip down carry, and it's ambidextrous. So good job on that. It's really nice. It's stonewashed as well. So really looks like almost titanium, like really nice looking clip. It's, you know, cut out so you can access those screws. And guess what? Those screws don't stick out nearly as much as that case Ginsu Case Morales screws. So case, if you're looking at an easy way to fix, this isn't even recessed and it fits in your pocket fine. Do something like this, please. Please do something like this. Okay, so really like the clip on that. Another thing I like, and we'll discuss the lock a little bit more, but I do like how smooth the Atlas lock is. It's just a lot smoother than your Triad lock. Is it as strong? I don't think so. I think it's still pretty strong based on what I've seen. Can it like undeploy if your hand like accidentally comes down like this? Maybe. I guess it's possible. I mean, it's technically possible if your hand presses hard enough for this to undeploy too. So, you know, let me know what you guys think. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But it is a lot smoother. Like, I mean, you don't have to put nearly the effort. Like if I do this to take it off, like you can see a little bit on my hand, but to do that, you can really see that cut out on your finger. And they do smooth up over time, that Triad lock. So I like how smooth this Atlas lock is. I think it's very smooth, very nice to use. In most ways, there is a couple issues I have with that. And so let's get on to what I don't mind, because I think I want to talk about this lock. I'm kind of back and forth on the Atlas lock, and I've only had it on this knife. So bear that in mind. You know, if you guys have had it on the full size N-Gage, it might be completely different. You know, this is just coming from the perspective I have now. From what I've seen, like with the Stickman and the people who represent Cold Steel, the Atlas lock was kind of meant to be their fidgety lock, right? Like a Benchmade's Axis or you know, even like a frame lock, a little bit more fidgety, a little bit more fun to play with. And so they wanted you to kind of grab it like this and fidget like this. But this just is an awkward place to be. The lock is positioned too far down the handle for it to be that fidgety lock. Right? Maybe if you have more beef on the handle, it's not as awkward, even if it is further down. But this needs to be, for this to be kind of that lock where you kind of deploy it like that, this needs to be like up here, to where you can grab it and deploy it like that, kind of like where a flipper would be. This right now is just too far back for that to be that kind of flip open knife. You can do it, it's just very awkward. And with a smaller knife like this, it might be easier on the bigger drifters, or the bigger N-Gage. That's what it was originally called, was the drifter. Let me know if you guys have that and if you guys have that experience. Now, I will say this, like I said, it is smooth, and if you use it like a regular back lock, it actually works really well, because you just kind of deploy it, you undo it with your thumb, you know, and use it like I would a Triad kind of thing. So with that regard, I think it's quite nice, and it's a lot more comfortable to use than the Triad lock. So if you have it in mind as kind of like a standard back lock, but really a lot smoother, yeah, I think it works really great. But as that fidgety kind of lock, I just don't think it quite works. Maybe it does again on the bigger models. Anyway, what else don't I mind? Well, the price is okay. The prices on all of them are okay. I would call the price on the S35 model okay as well, but you know, S35 for the materials you're getting, G10, S35, 130 really isn't all that far off. It's more expensive than the Code 4, which is, you know, S35 as well, and it's more expensive than the Recon, but not by a ton. So you guys let me know what you think. I don't think it's that far off. Price is okay though. This is around 40 bucks for 4116, which is another thing that I don't mind. 4116 is one of those working steels. It doesn't have the greatest edge retention, but it has really, really good rust resistance. Fantastic rust resistance, actually. So I really don't mind 4116 for that price. I think it's perfectly adequate. It would be, you know, in the same realm of HCR, even though HCR probably holds an edge better. It's not going to be as rust resistant as this. So you have your trade-offs, you know. So 4116 is one of those other things, you know, I don't mind on it. I think it's totally okay. And the price is totally fine. I don't dislike it. I don't like it. I think it's totally okay. All right. So let's talk about what I don't like about the Cold Steel N-Gage, particularly the 2.5 inch one. Now this goes for all of them, actually. This is so ugly right here. It's just awkward looking, right? Like you have that right there on that Code 4, but it's not sticking out above the handle. Now, what I have found is, look, you can use it as a front flipper, kind of. Was that intentional? Probably not, and it's not a very good front flipper. If it was intentional, they didn't make it a very good front flipper. I don't think it was intentional because there's no jimping right there, which would have been quite nice and actually really lock your hand in. I just think that's really ugly. It's this weird little bird beak thing. I just think it does not look good. I don't know why that's necessary to be popping out that far. I feel like I would think there would be a way to kind of, you know, line that up a little bit better with the handle. Anyway, I don't think that looks very good. The handle, I also feel, is a bit strange. Now, it's not terrible. The reason I feel that is you have a 2-inch blade, and this is speaking specifically to this one. I know it is different on the others. And then you have almost an inch right here where it's just like nothing. You know, you have that little sharpening choil, you have the ricasso, and then you have just this area where the pivot is. And so like with a small knife like this, you have like an inch of the knife with a small knife like this where there's just nothing until you get to that cutting edge. You can choke up right here, but it's not really meant to do that. Excuse me, guys. So I just think that's awkward. I think it looks strange. Like you look at this compared to this, right? Where your hand settles is so much closer to that cutting edge than where your hand settles right here, right? It's just so much further away. So I just think that's kind of awkward, and I don't prefer that. And I mentioned the awkward placement of the lock, but that is one thing I don't like specifically about the Atlas lock. I'm still formulating opinions on it, but specifically the placement, I just think it should be up a little bit higher on the blade. So instead of doing something unique like I talked about, let's do closing thoughts. So I'm not kind of sure how I feel about this new locking mechanism. Right now, I'm kind of at the point where I don't mind it. I think that I could kind of go either way. Long term, if it ends up being really, really durable, I'll probably formulate really positive opinions. Long term, if I see a lot break, if it's not as strong as a Triad, I probably won't formulate super popular opinions. So, you know, I don't think that it's quite what they were looking for. With some adjustments, maybe it could be. You know, I just don't know. Functionality overall seems good, seems strong though. So is this a recommend? Well, I don't know. It just depends, guys. Get your hands on this. If it feels comfortable, you like the style, you like the looks, go for it. But right now, for me, it's not a full recommend just because I don't think that this lock and this design is quite proven yet. Give it a couple of years, people might formulate really good opinions on it. And if they do, you know, this might be one of Cold Steel's staples that people really enjoy. But as of right now, specifically on the 2.5, we'll reserve our thoughts for the 3-inch and the 3.5 later. But specifically on the 2.5, I can't say it's a fully recommend, not because it's not a good knife. I think it's a solid knife. It's well built, made of FRN. And stuff like that, you know, but it's just, it doesn't grab me immediately like a lot of other blades do, like this Blur does, or like that Code 4 does. And so, yeah, you know, if you like it, it's a well-built knife, so don't worry about that. It's just, you may want to get in your hand and see how you like this locking mechanism and this overall feel before you buy it. So, real quick, I just realized we forgot to do specs. I don't know if you guys really care about specs all that much, but it is a 2.5-inch blade, cutting edge 2.1-inch. The big spec that's important for me is this is 1.9 ounces. That's pretty impressive. So that is another thing I actually like. 1.9 ounces for a 2.5-inch blade. Well done, Cold Steel. And it doesn't feel cheap. It just feels light. So very good. FRN handle, Atlas lock. You guys get that. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this new series, this new lock. If you have a lot of experience with it, let me know, if it's been durable, if you guys think it will stand the test of time. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.